Quotes by Napoleon Bonaparte. Life-changing quotes. Never interrupt your enemy when he is making a mistake. Courage isn't having the strength to go on, it is going on when you don't have strength. In politics, stupidity is not a handicap. Show me a family of readers, and I will show you the people who move the world. Religion is excellent stuff for keeping common people quiet. Religion is what keeps the poor from murdering the rich. History is a set of lies agreed upon. Imagination governs the world. If you want a thing done well, do it yourself. Nothing is more difficult, and therefore more precious, than to be able to decide. Take time to deliberate, but when the time for action comes, stop thinking and go in. Impossible is a word to be found only in the dictionary of fools. If I had to choose a religion, the sun as the universal giver of life would be my God. Alexander, Caesar, Charlemagne, and I have founded empires. But on what did we rest the creations of our genius? Upon force. Jesus Christ founded his empire upon love, and at this hour millions of men would die for him. The only victories which leave no regret are those which are gained over ignorance. A woman laughing is a woman conquered. Conquests will come and go, but Delambre's work will endure. You don't reason with intellectuals. You shoot them. The best way to keep one's word is not to give it. Men are moved by two levers only, fear and self-interest. There are but two powers in the world, the sword and the mind. In the long run, the sword is always beaten by the mind. China is a sleeping giant, let him sleep, for if he wakes, he will shake the world. The world suffers a lot. Not because the violence of bad people, but because of the silence of the good people. He who fears being conquered is sure of defeat. The reason most people fail instead of succeed is they trade what they want most for what they want, at the moment. 10 people who speak make more noise than 10,000 who are silent. It is the cause, not the death, that makes the martyr. A picture is worth 1,000 words. Death is nothing, but to live defeated and inglorious is to die daily. Men are more easily governed through their vices than through their virtue. As for me, to love you alone, to make you happy, to do nothing which would contradict your wishes, this is my destiny and the meaning of my life. When a government is dependent upon bankers for money, they and not the leaders of the government control the situation. Since the hand that gives is above the hand that takes. Money has no motherland. Financiers are without patriotism and without decency, their sole object is gain. Circumstances. What are circumstances? I make circumstances. Ability is of little account without opportunity. Throw off your worries when you throw off your clothes at night. 4 hostile newspapers are more to be feared than 1,000 bayonets. Music is what tells us that the human race is greater than we realize. Never tell your enemy he is doing the wrong thing. History is the version of past events that people have decided to agree upon. Victory belongs to the most persevering. The hand that gives is among the hand that takes. Money has no fatherland. Financiers are without patriotism and without decency, their sole object is gain. The surest way to remain poor is to be honest. Religion is what keeps the poor from murdering the rich. Great men are meteors designed to burn so that earth may be lighted. A true man hates no one. Glory is fleeting, but obscurity is forever. To understand the man, you have to know what was happening in the world when he was 20. The best cure for the body is a quiet mind. Courage is like love, it must have hope for nourishment. If we could read the past histories of all our enemies, we would disregard all hostility for them. In our time, no one has the conception of what is great. It is up to me to show them. The greatest danger occurs at the moment of victory. The extent of your consciousness is limited only by your ability to love and to embrace with your love the space around you, and all it contains. The only victory over love is flight. I have seen only you, I have admired only you, I desire only you. The throne is only a bench covered with velvet. Great ambition is the passion of a great character. Those endowed with it may perform very good or bad acts. All depends on the principles which direct them. It's the unconquerable soul of man, and not the nature of the weapon he uses, that ensures victory. Put your iron hand in a velvet glove. I am surrounded by priests who repeat incessantly that their kingdom is not of this world. And yet they lay hands on everything they can get. I saw the crown of France laying on the ground, so I picked it up with my sword. We must laugh at man to avoid crying for him. It requires more courage to suffer than to die. The battlefield is a scene of constant chaos. The winner will be the one who controls that chaos, both his own and the enemy's. If you wish to be a success in the world, promise everything, deliver nothing. All great events hang by a single thread. The clever man takes advantage of everything. Neglects nothing that may give him some added opportunity. The less clever man, by neglecting one thing, sometimes misses everything. I start out by believing the worst. Give me enough medals and I'll win you any war. Success is the most convincing talker in the world. A revolution is an idea, taken up by bayonets. Impossible is the word found only in a fool's dictionary. Wise people create opportunities for themselves and make everything possible. I know he's a good general, but is he lucky? Courage cannot be counterfeited, it is one virtue that escapes hypocrisy. Let France have good mothers, and she will have good sons. Nothing is lost as long as courage remains. To write history one must be more than a man. Since the author who holds the pen of this great justiciary must be free from all preoccupation of interest or vanity. When you have an enemy in your power, deprive him of the means of ever injuring you. One must learn to forgive and not to hold a hostile, bitter attitude of mind, which offends those about us and prevents us from enjoying ourselves. One must recognize human shortcomings and adjust himself to them rather than to be constantly finding fault with them. The herd seek out the great, not for their sake but for their influence. And the great welcome them out of vanity or need. What is the government? Nothing, unless supported by opinion. There are so many laws that no one is safe from hanging. Ordinarily men exercise their memory much more than their judgment. I make my battle plans from the spirit of my sleeping soldiers. If the art of war were nothing but the art of avoiding risks, glory would become the prey of mediocre minds. I have made all the calculations, fate will do the rest. One must indeed be ignorant of the methods of genius to suppose that it allows itself to be cramped by forms. Forms are for mediocrity, and it is fortunate that mediocrity can act only according to routine. Ability takes its flight unhindered. The love of glory is like the bridge that Satan built across chaos to pass from hell to paradise. Glory links the past with the future across a bottomless abyss. Nothing to my son, except my name. Women are nothing but machines for producing children. Power is my mistress. I have worked too hard at her conquest to allow anyone to take her away from me. Never depend on the multitude, full of instability and whims, always take precautions against it. The laws of circumstance are abolished by new circumstances. From triumph to downfall there is but one step. I have noted that, in the most momentous occasions, mere nothings have always decided the outcome of the greatest events. He who cannot look over a battlefield with a dry eye causes the death of many men uselessly. Lead the ideas of your time and they will accompany and support you. Fall behind them and they drag you along with them, oppose them and they will overwhelm you. As a rule it is circumstances that make men. It is only by prudence, wisdom, and dexterity that great ends are attained and obstacles overcome. Without these qualities nothing succeeds. We frustrate many designs against us by pretending not to see them. Of all the peoples of Europe, Spaniards disgust me the least. Orders and decorations are necessary in order to dazzle the people. One is more certain to influence men, to produce more effect on them by absurdities than by sensible ideas. There are in the world two powers, the sword and the spirit. The spirit has always vanquished the sword. It is a mistake, too, to say that the face is the mirror of the soul. The truth is, men are very hard to know. And yet, not to be deceived, we must judge them by the present actions, but for the present only.